What's the best way to transition from real estate agent to investor? Not sure where to find financing considering I don't have a W-2 income.
That's okay. You got to talk to bankers and you got to say who understands 1099, because see, you're W-2, but you can probably add your mileage back in. You're taking all these big expenses. You're taking a portion of your house write off. If you're doing line item, or if you're just taking your one time, I think it's $24,000 per couple. They add that back in. So you got to figure out what your income is. And then you have to take it and highlight it, guys. And I'm sorry to tell you this, man, but when I go do a loan, I already have everything in a spreadsheet and say, here's how I made my money last year, because it's complicated. They don't even understand. And I show them, they're like, oh, well, you're showing a huge loss on your taxes. I'm like, that's accelerated depreciation. You got to add that back in. And they're like, I got to get you the commercial guy. I'm like, yeah, that's the guy I need to talk to. But now I got relationships with these people and they understand our tax returns. So that's not easy to find. No, I could tell you, man, I searched for 4 years before I found somebody that could really even help me understand. I mean, it's complicated, but you have to dig in and find that. And through the course, my accountant's going to sit here and explain to you the things that they can add back in to count so that your income, even if you're showing almost nothing, which most self-employed people can get their taxes almost down to nothing because they're able to write things off that a W-2 person's not. So what if you could still use the write-off, but then the banks would add it back in and say, oh, well, your income's really XYZ. So that's what you have to learn to do. And then you have to talk to a banker and say, can we deal with the commercial department? And you got to see, you should have a lot of relationships if you are a realtor. Ask around, ask your investors, say, who's good, who understands your tax returns, and get a resource from them. Use your resources to find what you need.
Going to be speaking with local banks about rentals, refinancing loans. What other questions should I be asking them to make sure they fit for me?
Do they know how to add back in your depreciation? Do they hold the loans? Do they have portfolio lending? You don't really want ones that are just going to send it off to Fannie and Freddie, because then you're going to be really limited, especially on investor properties, because we did a video on this on YouTube. It's called, they're going to be doing what's called DU underwriting, which is desktop underwriting, which means get in line. There's going to be a line of people that want to do these, and we're going to have to manually underwrite everyone. And here's the problem, guys. When you get a manual underwriter, that underwriter, let's say they get a file kicked back to them because the person defaults a year or two from now. That reflects on that actual underwriter. And then they track that and say, hey, how many did this underwriter have coming back? So a DU desktop underwriter is going to be so conservative. They are only going to take the ones that look like, oh, this is easy. I get it. I understand it. And, oh, I can explain why I qualify this person, and you can't argue with it. So if there's anything that's outside the norm, they're probably not going to do it. They're going to go with somebody else, or they're going to give you a bunch of pushback. So find a local bank that you could rock with. Say, hey, I want to partner with you. Because, see, in business, to grow your business, you need customers. And a bank is no different. They need customers. It's called fractional reserve banking. I don't know if you guys know how that works, but what that means, if the bank takes in a $10,000 deposit and they're running a fractional reserve of 10%, that means they can take the 10%. Here, let me give you some math. 10%, they're going to give you a quarter point on your money, which means they're going to give you $250 a year on your money. The bank, though, fractional reserve can, let's say, lend out a 10X. They can lend out $100,000 and charge 4%. That means the bank's going to give out $250 and they're going to bring in, wait a minute, no. They're going to, what's a quarter point? I'm sorry, $25. They're going to give you, let me do the math, man. I don't know why I can't figure that out right now. Yeah, they're going to give you $25 for your $10,000 in interest because rates are so low. Then they're going to lend out off your $10,000. They're going to leverage that. And it's complicated. It's really complicated, but it's called fractional reserve banking. They'll be able to lend out $100,000 and charge 4%, which is $4,000. So they give out $25,000. They lend out. They make $4,000. Now, I don't think that's all profit. The banks have a lot of overhead, they got advertising, they got all kinds of people they got to pay. So they're making a small percentage, but that's every business. They make margins. So you got to sell yourself that I am somebody who you want to rock with. You got to sell the bank. Hey, I just want to tell you guys, man, make sure you go on my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the like button, click on the bell, and follow us, man. Follow us on TikTok. And thank you guys for everything you do in the group. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you go join our Facebook group. We have the best people in there, man. We got I think we hit over 55,000 people this week. We're growing like crazy, man. Today we hit 55,000 people, and we are growing by 300 to 400 people a day. We don't accept everybody into the group. We try to limit it. We don't want anybody in there advertising. We want this to be a help group. There are plenty of groups where you can advertise in. But for this one here, we don't want that. We don't want spammers in here. We don't know who you are. You could be totally legit, but we don't have the time to vet you. We are working on affiliate links, and we're just really here to help people. And people have questions and give them free knowledge, man, and help push them through and motivate them and be positive. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, Nate Barger on YouTube, and hit the bell. And you'll be notified on any new videos that come out.